Don't you go.
Joining me. This is Mediterranean Made in here. I have a special guest today. This is Joey from Plant-Based Dads. I'm sure you already know he is my brother. Can you see the resemblance?
We look just like each other.
I always say I'm the pretty one, obviously.
I'm the smart one.
Right.
So we are on the Carnival Venezia out of New York. Yep, we're doing a Bermuda cruise, and both our families are with us. When we first set this up, no one was around. Everyone's staring at us. We're going to talk about. We don't really have a lot of time together, right?
Right.
So we're going to talk about some of the challenges with April's diet, and then we'll do a separate video for the ones with my diet. Right?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. So let's talk about, you do on your channel the Mediterranean diet, right?
I do, yes.
And what is that?
So the Mediterranean diet, exactly kind of what it says, the Mediterranean diet, think of it more of a lifestyle than an actual diet. It's a lifestyle that the people around the Mediterranean areas, it's more about eating fresh fruits and vegetables, anything in season. So any state you're in, they have the agricultural list, so you can just look it up, but it's things that are growing now. So it's pretty much anything in season. Pick anything that's growing now. Fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, nothing packaged, very little red meats, very little dairy, sugars, anything like that. And it's more for fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains, beans, lentils, non-fat dairy in proportions. The thing with the Mediterranean diet is nothing's off limits, it's just in portions. Like the bad stuff, like I don't eat a whole lot of it, but sugars, candies, alcohol, red meats, it's supposed to be every once in a blue moon. So it's not that it's completely restricted, it's just not something that we usually eat. So that's the thing about Mediterranean. Think of it like a pyramid of like what you can eat first. So it sounds like, and I'll post that too so you guys can see what I'm talking about.
Sounds like you incorporate a lot of the same things we do. A lot of vegetables, a lot of fruits, a lot of whole food.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I guess the main difference is that Mediterranean diet isn't completely vegan. Some are, which is totally fine. I'm not. I do low-fat cheeses. Feta and goat cheese are my absolute favorite, which of course I don't put it on everything. And then our main source of protein as far as meat goes is chicken or fish.
Awesome. All right. So there you go. All right. So now there's a bunch of Mediterranean channels out there, right? As far as foods, yours is a little different. I don't know if people realize this. So tell me why yours is different than the rest of them.
So mine's a little different from the rest of them. If you go to a lot of Mediterranean diet channels, you'll notice people will get salads and just pour oil over them. Now, I'm not insulting that at all. Some people, if you're not looking to lose weight, and weight's not an issue, I completely understand that, because a lot of the Mediterranean cultures, they do use oil, which is, it's a extra virgin olive oil, and it does have health benefits. It is one of the best oils to use, so absolutely. But if you're trying to lose weight, which is the main reason I started the Mediterranean diet, dripping oil and everything, it's just not going to work. And also, I have a big issue with my triglycerides. They've always been very, very high. So I can't, even the healthy fats like peanut butter, avocado, coconut's a big one. I love coconut. It's a lot on the Mediterranean diet, but it's so high in saturated fat that on my channel, I do my best to keep a low-fat Mediterranean diet just to help your triglycerides, because this really is a problem for me. I remember when I was younger, in my early 20s, I went to one doctor and she's like, oh yeah, you don't have to worry about triglycerides, they're a little high, but you're young. And then a year later I saw a completely different doctor and I said the same thing. I said, oh, my doctor said not to worry about it. And the doctor turns around and says to me, I mean, if you want to live to 40.
Okay.
So it shows you how doctors can be very different about your blood work. And also the one doctor's like, oh, your cholesterol's a little high, don't worry about it, you're still young. And the other doctor's like, no, I mean, you're going to have a heart attack if you want to,
Now's the time to worry about it.
Now's the time to worry about it. And I'm glad it's him that I listened to, and I started working out, I'm like, well, triglycerides, what is that? Well, triglycerides is basically animal fats. And so I had to really look at doing something that was low fat, and that's kind of one of the reasons I did the Mediterranean diet. I was having some really, really bad stomach issues. My triglycerides were high. So I went on to look on the internet for stuff as inflammatory foods. At one point I was diagnosed with IBS and given medication because my stomach was so bad. I'm like, I don't want to take medication for the rest of my life. The biggest problem with the medication was that once I started taking it, I needed every meal or my stomach was going to fall out. And I'm like, I don't want to depend on this. So I started researching anti-inflammatory foods and all, and I came across the Mediterranean diet, and I've tried it. And ever since then, I've had no problem. My triglycerides are now great. I don't take any medications for my stomach or anything. So it's completely changed me a whole lot.
So you do more of a low-fat version of the Mediterranean diet. Yeah.
So all my stuff's going to be lower-fat versions of the Mediterranean diet. And there's nothing wrong with the normal Mediterranean diet. So any of the channels that do Mediterranean diet is totally fine. It's just it doesn't work for me, and it might not work for you too.
So, and that's something people don't realize. So olive oil, is it healthier for you? It is the healthiest oil you can have, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But if you're trying to lose weight, oil itself, no matter which oil it is 4,000 calories per pound. So even if you use olive oil or the worst oil, coconut oil or vegetable oil, you're still getting 4,000 calories per pound, right?
Yes.
It doesn't really matter which type of oil it is. So as far as weight loss, there's that, right? Now as far as health-wise, then unsaturated oils like olive oil are good for you, right?
So that's the problem too. Like when I eat a salad, if I drip all this olive oil, well, there's my calories.
Yeah, there's calories right there.
I mean, I could make a salad dressing that's much healthier for you and doesn't have all that olive oil, and it doesn't take half my calories for the day.
Yeah.
So it will help because you still need your calorie deficit to lose weight. So just upping your calories is just not going to help you.
Yeah, but without a calorie deficit, you're not losing weight. No matter what diet you're on, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
You have to have a calorie deficit. All right, so that's cool. All right, so what have you learned? I guess we've just talked about it, but you've learned a lot about triglycerides, about fats, and about all that. What else have you learned living this way?
I have learned, and this kind of sounds a little bit weird, is to people will judge you. I've had people, and I guess it's just true with anybody. Any diet you have, there's always going to be people with spectacles like, oh, why do you do that? Like my brother's vegan. He's going to have people that go, God made meat to eat it. Well, I mean, everybody has their own opinions and their own way of eating.
Ask the cows.
I mean, and you should respect what works for them, because what works for me might not work for you. So I've learned a lot of just kind of doing my own research and my own studies, and it's the same thing with the Mediterranean diet. If you look it up a lot, there's a lot of channels where I see people just drip oil on stuff, and again, for them that works. For me, it would not, because I'm trying to lose weight. I did gain about 20 pounds when I went off the Mediterranean diet about a year ago, so I'm slowly losing it again. But so following everybody else's instructions wouldn't work for me. So I kind of had to do my own trial and error and really research things, what's healthy and what's not. So it taught me to read labels too. That's one of the biggest things, reading labels. A lot of labels are very, very misleading. I'm going to talk about my father-in-law for a second. He is trying to stay away from sugar, so he buys this honey that's not real honey. What is it? It's a honey imitation.
Imitation honey.
Now the problem is, yes, honey is sugar. It's pretty much sugar and it's fattening, but it's still like pure honey is still pure honey. You're getting something that's a process-made honey. That's probably way worse for you than the actual jar of real honey.
That's the story with like Diet Coke and all that.
Yeah.
Instead of getting the sugar, the actual cane sugar that's grown, you're getting a chemical instead.
Yeah, and the aspartame that's in a lot of diets kills my
so
stomach.
you're better off just drinking the soda with the sugar in it, because then at least you're not getting the chemicals, right? Just drink less soda.
Really read labels.
Yeah. All right, so how does it work if your spouse isn't like all on board with this?
So my husband's amazing. You'll get to meet him a little bit more in some later shows, but my husband is an amazing, amazing cook. He does all the cooking, and his cooking is amazing. And leads a very healthy lifestyle. We don't eat a lot of red meats. He does do a lot of Japanese cooking. He's very into the Japanese culture, which a lot of their food is just as whole, ingredients, so it works. He does all the cooking at night, so anything on my diet, he kind of just puts together and makes it for all of us. There's not very much that I eat that he doesn't like, so we're pretty much the same on diets. He's the one who taught me about working out. I talked about in another video that I was just walking on the treadmill and wasn't doing anything, and then I started lifting for a while, and I started gaining weight. All I was doing was looking at the scale, and he taught me, no, you're lifting more. Also, you're going to be gaining muscle, so don't look at the scale, look at your clothes size. And it worked really well. So my husband is a big, big supporter of my diets. Even if he finds new recipes at a Mediterranean diet, he'll send them to me, he'll make them for dinner, he'll surprise me with it. So he's been a very, very good support system.
It does make it hard, but I think I've learned that you do your thing and set a good example, right?
Yeah.
Plant a little seed, and eventually they'll come around and be like, oh, that looks good. What do you got there, right? versus my TV dinner. Now, mine doesn't look too good. What do you have
No.
there? Maybe I should make that.
I just feel like if like I was doing all this and Derek was eating TV dinners every day
Right.
and sitting on his butt, I mean,
It wouldn't work.
I don't think it would work out. And I think, I mean,
Yeah. All right,
That's
so
an issue.
I guess let's talk about one
I
last
have my
question.
hair right in my face and I'm like,
We're on vacation. It's a beautiful background, isn't it? I mean, we're right.
absolutely gorgeous.
All right, so I guess the last question is, why do you think people fail on this? Like they start in every diet, like they start a diet and then they're gung ho for the first 2 weeks, right? And then they're like, I'm gonna have this one meal. That's it. I'll start pick it up again next week.
Yep.
What happened?
Two things. The first thing is it's a bad day, not a bad month. I've done this before last year, so I know what personal experience. So you have a bad day, something goes wrong, you just stuff your face, and you're like, all right, you know what? I'm already off this diet anyway, so I'm just gonna stick off the diet. You know, just always remember it's a bad day, not a bad month. You can pick it right back up, and I think that's people guilt trip themselves. There's no reason to guilt trip yourself if you have a slice of cake. Eat the slice of cake, eat the donut, eat the brownie, and then just finish what you're doing tomorrow. Don't guilt trip yourself. Don't make yourself feel bad. There's just no reason for that.
So I think that I always say, I always say progress over perfection.
Yes.
Right? So if you fell, right? You fell, oh, I had something I shouldn't, fine. Pick it up where you left off, right?
Yes.
You're not starting over, right? You don't have to be
No.
like, I'm gonna start over on Monday. Just pick it up where you left off and keep on going. You're just
Exactly.
moving on, right?
The
All
other
right, so-
biggest thing, and this is more of an issue for women that I've noticed, is wine.
Wine, yeah.
I mean, many women I know are wine drinkers, and it's not just a glass of wine, it'll be a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
And I know the Mediterranean diet is big about having a glass of wine each night for dinner. Well, the problem with that is, like, one of my favorite wines is terrible for you, so I don't drink it a lot. It's Stella Rosa. It's a red wine, but I mean, let's face it, it's sugar. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like the Swedish red wine. You're drinking a bottle of juice is what Derek calls it.
Yeah.
So it's not something I really drink now, but if you're not looking at the wine you're getting, if you're getting just like a red blend that's full of sugar and you're drinking that, that's not going to help you.
Yeah.
And most people that drink a lot of wine like that
Yeah.
don't just drink the one glass for dinner. There are a lot
No.
of just going
So
with the wine. So
when-
that's a big issue.
When I used to go to Weight Watchers, right, that was the thing. There were a lot of people there, and they're like, I eating too many points, right, every day. And they're like, well, let's look at your points. And there's like 2 points for a carrot, 4 points for a bread, 22 points for wine, right? Okay, listen, I think I found the problem.
Right?
Like,
It's a
you're at the
big
wrong
issue.
meeting, right? That's it. So,
Limit the wine, or at least look at the labels and see what you're drinking.
or you would have to really budget for that all day
Yeah.
to be able to have one glass, right? So and you can also look at calories for the week. Like if you're low on calories all week, then you can have a few glasses on the weekend, right?
Yeah,
but if you
yeah.
haven't budgeted for that, then that's not going to work.
No, absolutely not. And I have a lot of female friends that have come to me and said, you know, I watch your channel, I did the Mediterranean diet, but I'm not losing weight. Here's everything I do. And it's every single one of them, it's about 5 or 6 of them, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
They come home and drink a bunch of wine.
If you're not losing weight, there's one reason for it. You have too many calories. There's no other reason, right? Because you have to have a calorie deficit. Then you have to, and you'll say to yourself, well, I ate pretty good. You're gonna have to write down everything and figure it all out because you don't realize you're getting calories from somewhere.
Yep.
That's kind of the problem with oil. You like, oh, I had vegetables. No, you had vegetables cooked in oil,
oil,
right?
yeah.
There's 200 calories you didn't
Yep.
count for, right? Every time you had a meal. So there's all these like hidden little calories, right?
Another thing with that is too that I forgot to mention that's the biggest issue. People stop at Starbucks, which I love Starbucks too, for coffee in the morning. They're like, oh no, I just got a coffee. Now, did you just get a coffee or did you get like a latte with all the stuff in it and the caramel? And don't get me wrong, I love that as much as anyone else, but
Those are like 500-600
Yes.
calories to start your day. If you're only getting 1,500, that's
so
a
if you're
third
not
of it.
adding that correctly
Yeah.
to your calorie points,
Yeah.
you're not having it correctly, and
There's
that's an issue.
And there's a saying with my plant-based thing, like why we not supposed to drink smoothies, because for the same reason, like you could drink all your calories for the day right there, right? And then you're still starving.
Thank you so much for joining me. We will have another interview on Joey's channel, Plant-Based Dad, so make sure you check that out. My name is April. I am Mediterranean Maiden.
Like and subscribe.
Woohoo! Don't forget to subscribe and like. If you have any questions about the Mediterranean diet, leave it down. And I do understand people are going to agree or disagree, and this is just my personal opinion, what's worked for me. If you have any comments, questions, leave them below. If you have any suggestions or even just simple questions about if you want to talk to me about your diet, you know, this is what I'm doing, what's my issue. We can talk about it, whatever works for you guys. Leave a comment below.
See you next time.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Don't you